All right, welcome back. You're watching Newsx. Donald Trump has yet again reiterated the fact that he has completely obliterated Iran. Trump has also hinted that he wants to move on, but Iran stays put against any negotiations. Besides other indications, Trump has also announced his visit to China in 45 days. Well, this will be his first visit to Beijing, where he will be meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping. So let's examine what's going to be on the agenda. Well, the first obvious priority would be discussions on Middle East. Second on the list is likely to be Taiwan and China's aggression in the Strait. Also on the agenda is going to be Trump's 15-month-long chaotic trade choke. But what does this mean for India? It is Trump whose trade war actually led to India and China coming back on the table and making positive changes. We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, former diplomat, Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Mr. Andrew K.P. Leung, China strategist. He joins us all the way from Hong Kong. Ernesto Castaneda, associate professor, American University and director of the Immigration Lab. He joins us all the way from Washington, D.C. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this conversation. Professor Nalapat, I'll begin with you. Well, obviously, these are precarious and trying times. How do you think this meeting between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping is going to impact, the headway, if we can call it that both India and China have made by the problems that were, in fact, articulated by the American president?
Well, I'd like to point out that Trump is, first of all, a showman. He was in show business. The entire Trump brand is founded on show business. Not really substance, but show. And Trump has been a master throughout his business career in showmanship. And there's no better showmanship than a meeting with the two superpowers, China and the United States, and their leaders. So that will be the greatest show of all, and it will transfix media all over the world. But there are some real issues between the U.S. and China. One, of course, is the fact that China normally supports countries the U.S. is not. For example, Venezuela. The Chinese are very unhappy about the action he took in Venezuela. He seems to be very proud about it. And the Chinese are very unhappy about the fact that he's being very activist in the Indian Ocean region, and more importantly in the South China Sea. So he'll be looking for successes. He needs them because of the midterms. They are coming in a few months' time, and he does not want his party to lose its majority in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. But the problem is that the Chinese want a bigger surplus, not a smaller surplus. They are unlikely to oblige. He wants the Iran war to be settled on his terms, which means no nuclear energy, no nuclear power whatsoever for Iran. Now that's going to be a very hard pill for Chinese leadership to swallow, for a simple reason that China has been very supportive of Iran, and in fact has been one of the largest buyers, by far the largest buyer of Iranian oil. So I'd like to point out there are real issues on the table, real differences on the table, and showmanship is not going to bridge them. I doubt that anything much is going to come about this meeting, but at least it will capture the headlines for about 3-4 days. And I think that is what Donald Trump is after, capturing the headline. Thank you, Vinny.
All right, fair enough, sir. Ambassador Mukherjee, how are you looking at this meeting? And let's also talk about Trump. In fact, just spoke to the international media as well. He has clearly announced that the Americans are on top of this war. On ground, of course, there are differing reports that are coming in, but still, at large, there seems to be a huge pile of confusion, especially when it comes to consumption of what to believe and what not to believe.
Well, thank you, Vineet. First of all, let me address the visit to China. In my perception, the Chinese have done very well out of this war started by U.S. against Iran. It was intended to demonstrate that United States is a superpower whose will prevails over every other power. On the contrary, it has strengthened the United States' principal adversary, that is the People's Republic of China. His trade war has brought China and India closer together, and I think that rapprochement will continue because there is absolutely no reason why India and China should not have a good relationship, particularly when the United States President is completely confused about who is the principal adversary of United States and who are its strategic partners. In fact, he has wreaked havoc on his strategic partners, be it NATO, be it the EU, be it the Gulf countries that have borne the brunt of Iranian attacks on their infrastructure, on their oil facilities, and now they are threatening to take out their desalination plant. And for that matter, he has decided that the country that we consider to be a terrorist regime, that is Pakistan, is free to pronounce itself as the principal mediator on this matter, while India, which used to be called the principal strategic asset of United States in the Indo-Pacific, well, there have been some conciliatory noises, a phone call to our Prime Minister, etc., but it doesn't hide the fact beneath that President Trump has single-handedly destroyed the confidence that the Indian people had in the India-US strategic partnership. Coming to your second question about his tall claim that he has prevailed in this conflict, I would like to ask a simple question to Trump. How has he prevailed? The Straits of Hormuz, the oil tankers, Iran has mentioned 4 countries, Russia, China, India and Pakistan, whose tankers can pass through. But the point is, insurance companies are not willing to pay the cost. The crew of these tankers are terrified. They don't want to go into the Straits of Hormuz and get trapped there. And oil has hit an astronomical high, which is affecting President Trump's domestic supporters. On top of that, it has caused huge crisis among his allies, including in India, where 1.4 billion people find that they have to run around to get cooking gas, because it used to get 80% of it from Qatar through the Straits of Hormuz. So I would like to think that it is extremely dangerous to be Trump's friend. It is less dangerous to be Trump's enemy. And this visit to China will just result in the Chinese proclaiming themselves to be not just an equal to Trump, but maybe better than Trump, and to tell Trump, you want to create chaos on your side of the world, please leave Taiwan to us. When we want to finish Taiwan, we'll finish Taiwan. I'd like to see how Trump is going to address it, considering that he has moved most of the military reserves of the United States all the way to the Gulf, leaving his allies in Asia high and dry completely. So I would say, Vineet, it's a lesson that United States needs to learn, that when you start a war with no strategic plan, with no idea what you're getting into, with no idea how to end it, with no idea as to what your final aims are, you are in this kind of scenario where you need the help of your adversaries to get you out of it. The most ironical would be if Russia and China help Trump to get out of this mess. And then where does it leave the prestige of the world's so-called only superpower? Winning.
Mr. Castaneda, how are you looking at the situation? Obviously, the world finds itself on some perilous crossroads. The energy market, not to mention the stock market, the depletion in growth for various numbers, including the Middle Eastern countries. It all seems to be a hot mess at this point in time. What do you think? This meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping could produce in terms of perhaps a novel world order?
Yes, well, first of all, it's good that the meeting probably will happen, or that's what has been announced now. As you were saying, it was delayed because of the bombardments in Iran and the region. Supposedly, the spokesperson of the White House was saying that by the time this meeting happens, the war may be ended. That's their wishful thinking. Well, we hope so, but we don't know. This now really is on the hands of Iran, which are willing, it seems, to go for a long term on this conflict. One of the issues, if Xi Jinping and Trump do meet, is going to be obviously the issue of oil, as we were discussing. India and many countries in Asia depend on the oil and the gas that crosses through Hormuz Strait, and China even more so. So that's obviously an issue that is not being appreciated in China. And then the other one is clearly the tariffs, which have been trying to affect the exports from China with mixed results. Actually, China's exports grew last year more than recently. So it hasn't had the intended effect that Trump wanted, but it has produced inflation in the U.S. and has affected other countries who also have been unfairly given tariffs, even with previous trade agreements. The Supreme Court of the U.S. said that those tariffs were illegal according to the U.S. law, where the president cannot be in charge of taxing international trade. That's up to Congress. He has come up with other ways to raise tariffs against China and other countries, but that is temporary. That's going to end, and then it's yet to be seen what type of tariffs they're going to be. So that's something that probably would be negotiated with the Chinese. And then, as Ambassador was saying, the issue of, for example, Venezuela, which was done unilaterally without any consultation of Russia or anybody else, and the issue of Taiwan, which probably they won't touch, but it's also something that worries a lot of people. And also Cuba is up there, and nominally China will be an ally of Cuba, and will probably try to ask Trump not to also get involved in that country. But as we were saying, Trump is not a serious negotiator, who may say one thing one day, change his mind, and he's not somebody that China or many other countries can have negotiations that they can be confident are actually going to take place. So a lot is in the air right now, this new headline, to distract us a little bit from what's really happening in Iran. But 5-6 weeks, a lot is going to happen in between now and then.
Mr. Andrew, your analysis of the situation in context with what's going on with China. They have kept extremely quiet, if I can use that word, around this war.
Well, China is perhaps the only country with a very effective counterweight against Americans' coercion. Having lately found its a very effective weapon in terms of its domination over the global rare earth supply, and in fact its dominance over the whole world's supply and value chain. And so China remains relatively confident, and also China already foresaw what's coming over Iran almost 3 years ago. During the past 3 years, China has helped Iran to build up its own food supply system, its medical supply system, and of course its defense installations, well hidden deep down in the mountain ranges. And of course these hypersonic missiles, where are they coming from? And also the guidance, satellite guidance systems, they have been all in place in anticipation of what's going to come over, because look at what happened over Iran last year. This huge bombardment that also turbocharged what countries like Russia and China was trying to do to shore up Iran's defenses. And now I think that Trump probably find himself in the contrary. He thought that it was a cakewalk like Venezuela, but Iran is not Venezuela. Iran's population is nearly 100 million. and Venezuela is only maybe about 40% of that or less. And then in terms of the size of the territory, it's almost it's a couple of times larger than Venezuela. So I think that, but anyway, he's a showman, as the professor was stressed that point. I think he's trying to parlay the narrative, and it's walking away with victory, in the sense that he has managed to decapitate the Iranian leadership. He has seriously degraded its defenses. Its economy is in shambles. So he can walk away saying that, well, the United States is victorious. As for the nuclear capabilities, of course, a great deal of them have been destroyed. Again, he can parlay the narrative. Now, as far as the meeting with President Xi, I think it's a faint hope that there's going to be a grand bargain. Absolutely not, because you look at what the last national security strategy released recently. Even though there is a pivot to the Western Hemisphere, but on the Asia Pacific, is doubling down on the first island chain, trying to marshal its military allies with Japan and South Korea, and then with Australia, and to a certain extent, hopefully with India, to contain China through offshore balancing. And the same applies to the other regions as well. But what he wants from the meeting is, of course, deliverables in anticipation of his midterm elections. What are the deliverables? Well, these are the most crucial issues for his electorate. For example, soybeans in the Midwest, in this Midwest constituency, and of course, China's promise to ease on the rare earth supply. And hopefully, I think that there is a coincidence out of all these issues of strategy, in a sense that China wants to invest in the United States. And it is no good for China to destroy, for example, the electric car industries in Europe, in the United States, even though it is super competitive in terms of design, in terms of price, in terms of technology. But that's no good for China's image or for relations. A better solution is for China to outsource some of the production in the host countries, creating jobs, and then also bringing economic benefits to the host country. As to what happened over, for example, the black caps in London. Half of the black caps are now produced by a company based in Coventry, owned by China. So China's graduating from made in China in about several decades ago to created in China, say a few decades ago, to now owned by China. I think that this is a coincidence of wants on that front. But on the grander bargain of maybe a long-term relationship, I think it's a faint hope. I think that Trump firmly sets his eyes on the deliverables of midterm elections, and the timing is carefully calculated. He thought that within 45 days, he would be able again to engineer some sort of an agreement, and he can parlay the relative that is going to be a win for Trump. So I think that that's what
fair enough, sir. You have a good point, Professor Nalapa. It is often said that the war is a distraction, for the Epstein files, and perhaps Trump is planning something bigger now, which will be a distraction for this war.
Well, Vinay, I'd like to point out that what Andrew was saying is absolutely correct. The fact is that the White House spokesperson has herself said, frankly, that it will take 4 to 6 weeks for the issue to be settled. Now, Trump is very unsettled because of the Iran war. The gas prices are rising across the United States, grocery prices are rising across the United States. He is becoming less popular, and frankly, there will be a wipeout of the Republican Party at the hands of Democrats. I mean, Trump's own Mar-a-Lago, that beautiful resort, is now situated in a precinct that is voted Democratic. After a long, long time, it is voted Democratic. It is voted against the Mar-a-Lago occupants party. So I would like to say, Vineet, that the next 1 or 2 weeks are going to be crucial for Donald Trump. Now, if he thinks that, you know, he can go to China and pull some rabbits out of a hat, get some concessions out of Xi Jinping, I think he's making a big mistake. So the Chinese are very, very canny negotiators, and they know exactly how to negotiate with a person like Donald Trump. But of course, the issue is, the fact is that Trump is not predictable. You are never sure what he's going to say. The 10 minutes previous to what he says, you're never sure of that. And as a consequence, the Chinese will find it hard this time to go through all their scholarship, all their material on Trump, because now he's entered a very unpredictable phase of his career, and we really don't know what is going to happen in this visit to China. Is it going to end in some more friendship? Is it going to end in greater rivalry? We do not know. All that we know is that the optics of the world will be tuned on China, and the optics of the world will be tuned on the Trump-Xi meeting. But let's face it, these are two most powerful people on the planet, and because of that power, the news will also have to follow that, and therefore there'll be a huge amount of publicity for a Trump-Xi meeting. But whether there'll be a breakthrough for Trump, which he's desperate for, I don't think so. I don't think the Chinese are in any mood for a breakthrough. So I personally feel, Vineet, that this is a lot of showmanship, and at the end of it, that's all that's going to be there. A few headlines, a few TV shows, but beyond that, nothing, Vineet. I don't think anything is going to come out of this meeting. Thank you.
Fair enough, sir. We've run out of time, but I appreciate everybody who joined in and weighed in on this pressing issue. We take a short break on that note. Be right back.